very interesting. Is it your view, therefore, that the demand, also that this demand, therefore, for a legal guarantee for MSP is basically being driven by large farmers from specific states who stand to gain, mainly wheat and rice farmers? It doesn't benefit majority of the farmers of the country. Is that what you're saying? That there is a large pool of farmers outside this MSP regime even now?
You look at all East India, east of Lucknow, they have been selling since the time Agriculture Prices Commission was set up in 1965. It's 59 years today. And they are always selling, go and check their paddy prices. They are 15 to 25% below MSP. Are they agitating and coming to Delhi?
So where does that...
Why don't you give them that? Go and establish a shop there.
Where does that leave, though, Dr. Gulati, the Swaminathan Commission recommendation, the formula that was devised that the cost of inputs and other costs plus 50%, are you saying also that that's unviable in your view, and therefore you need to look at alternatives to just a C2 plus 50% formula?
Swaminathan Committee has two recommendations on MSP which these farmers are demanding. One is this legal thing that you are talking about. The other is it should be 50% over cost C2. That is the comprehensive cost. That means your owned land and owned capital, their imputed interest and imputed rent should also be counted as a cost, which means the MSP levels will go up by 25 to 30%. With all the due regard and great respects for Dr. Swaminathan as a scientist, but I'm sorry, economics doesn't speak about that type of pricing. That will create a major chaos in the system. So as an economist, whatever little I know of demand and supply and how the markets function and how the economy functions, I think this will be throwing a spanner, not just in the agriculture sector, but in the entire economy.
But Dr. Gulati, multiple challenges then come out. One, as you've been saying, how do you raise farm incomes? The other is, how do you get farmers to move away from wheat and rice to crops, to new crops, diversify the agriculture basket? How do you incentivize farmers to diversify? In the absence of a minimum support price, the question that is often asked is what happens when markets crash? Last week, for example, the quinoa crop in Punjab crashed and the farmers were destroying their crop because they were not getting their price. How do you then motivate them, incentivize them to diversify their crop and raise their incomes?
There are different ways. Ultimately, farmers' income need to go up, right? That's what we are concerned with. Now, in high-value commodities, incomes can be much higher than in basic staple crops like wheat and rice. Same per hectare. If you are having a poultry farm or a fish pond or a fruit or vegetable, the normal profits would be much higher. But there is a volatility, and that you are right. So there could be compensation during special years. Quinoa can be selling at 10 rupees a kg also, and it could be 30 rupees, 40 rupees a kg also. So the price stabilization fund that you talked about can help. Easiest way, you can give an income support to the farmers.
So you're talking about an income support, a price stabilization fund as the real solution. Could that then become the basis of a dialogue between government and protesting farmers? Because otherwise, the scenes that we've seen in the last couple of years, it seems will almost keep repeating because there is a deadlock.
That's one way to proceed. My own understanding, and I've studied global literature and I've worked on 40 countries' agriculture, country after country has come out of price support operations because they are distorting the markets. And the inefficiency that is built up in that is costing the economy hell. Country after country has gone in for direct income support to the farmers on per hectare basis. And then, they will say, okay, China, for example, it gave $22 billion worth of support to its farmers. But they say aggregate input support, and they can buy anything from fertilizers to power to seeds or pesticides with that money. but then the prices will be market determined. And that's the way to go. Otherwise, whether it is fertilizer or food, when you highly subsidize, it leads to massive diversion, massive inefficiency, massive corruption in the system. So price support operations have to be minimized, and the way for that is price stabilization fund, and gradually you have to move to income support, investment support.